It happens sometimes, doesn't it? The world feels like it's unraveling in front of our very eyes. Each headline, another shiver crawling across your skin, another signal in the dark that keeps your mind circling through the small hours. Maybe you feel it tonight as you sit here with me, something brewing far below, a tension, a great tectonic shudder we can only sense, but cannot quite name. The markets don't whisper anymore, they roar. Each flicker of the chart a thunderclap, each pause a held breath, waiting for something unseen to break, waiting for an answer hidden somewhere outside our window. Every trade shivers with unrest, like electricity surging through wet wires. You know this feeling, the sense that we're balanced on the edge of something significant. But before we move further, let me ask you, have you subscribed to Crypto 101 Central? Trust me, it matters. Every day, we cut through the noise, peeling back layers to find meaning beneath the surface. Tap the bell so you never miss the next twist, the next moment where our shared journey bends toward clarity. Now, forward, together. The Middle East quivers like a plucked string, and the whole world seems to hold its breath. Oil, heavy and dark, is hoarded and trapped by bottlenecks crafted in the silent violence of geopolitics. Ships wait, seas tense, prices coil and recoil with every rumor. I watch the charts, and I feel it with you. A tightness below the rib cage, a lingering question. What does any of this mean for us? For our portfolios, for our plans, for the steady rhythm of days and months tumbling forward into uncertainty? Every chart is a confession, a story half told, a flicker of hope, an omen written in lines and shadows. Sometimes I stare at my phone and wonder, what comes next? Do you do the same? Bitcoin holds its breath, tracing out a formation traders know all too well. Lower highs, pressure building, the faint echo of strength at an old resistance, now a memory. It tried to claw back, to rekindle momentum, but the spark just wasn't enough. Prices retreated. Still, the structure endures, clinging to support zones that feel at once fragile and unbreakable. If those levels fail, the descent might begin. Not a free fall, but a measured slide, single-digit drops that could snowball if fear arrives in earnest. Yet, in every storm, opportunity hides in plain sight. Volatility jingles like loose change in a pocket, a nuisance, a danger, an invitation. Risk and reward entwined. Impossible to separate, each step forward both a gamble and a footnote. Ethereum floats above a line in the sand, a psychological mark that keeps hope alive. Solana waits, quiet in its consolidation, a big cat in tall grass, unsure which way to pounce. Uncertainty is the only constant. This is not about prediction, but preparation. Where do you stand when the tide turns cold and the sky darkens? Where do you stand if, suddenly, the storm breaks and sunlight floods the charts once more? Beyond numbers, the world shudders. Escalations elsewhere ripple outwards, unsettling energy markets, threatening routes mapped in oil, steel, and fragile promises. Supply chains groan beneath the weight of rumor and retaliation. The longer uncertainty lingers, the more strain seeps into every price, every conversation, every decision. Markets try to quantify the unquantifiable, discounting fear, pricing in potential disaster. Gold, ever the patient witness, finds its strength. It has not stumbled for many months now, climbing, reinforcing its ancient role, sanctuary in a storm, ballast for those who refuse to drift. Silver follows, a glittering echo. Traditional havens draw capital like moths to a lantern as the clouds billow and darken. Bitcoin, though, Bitcoin is something else. It doesn't seek shelter. It is not yet behaving as the classic hedge, not in this chapter. Its movements are entangled with risk appetites, liquidity, sentiment that can't be boxed into safe categories. If price tumbles further before it finds its footing, the narrative isn't lost. Instead, the timeline shifts, stretching toward an uncertain horizon. Big swings unfold after long, quiet days, but never without turbulence. I remain cautious, and that isn't cowardice. I expect the ground to shake, for charts to flicker and falter. Should support fail, I will brace for the deeper waters below. If, instead, the structure rebuilds, I will shift, always adapting, never rooted too firmly in old assumptions. My allocations are scattered across the spectrum, some defensive, some digital, each chosen with one purpose: to survive what's coming, to breathe through the descent, and one day climb again with the dawn. Some positions languish underwater, others act as quiet shields, a hedge against what I cannot predict. This is never about catching bottoms, fantasies of perfection, the siren song of certainty. This is about resilience, about standing when the noise fades. I add exposure slowly. Trim risk when necessary. Flexibility is another kind of armor. I suspect we walk a sideways path for some weeks longer, markets pacing, waiting for the fog to lift. When truth breaks through, when clarity emerges, inertia will shatter and movement will thunder back. Until then, discipline. Take a breath with me. If you are weaving through this volatility, if you feel the sting and the strain, like the video. Let me know in the comments below. Are you holding defensive, building slow, or just waiting out the gale? I want to hear your voice. We are travelers in the same storm, architects of our own chances, observers and participants at once. There is no certainty, only structure, only patterns straining through the tumult, only probabilities shifting with every passing hour. Through one storm after another, energy spikes, panic sell-offs, the crackling rhetoric of politics, one thing reveals itself again and again. Storms pass. Always. Markets spiral and stumble, but they do not break forever. Capital flows like a river, eddying, then charging forward, seeking new ground. In all this chaos, what matters is endurance. What matters is that you remain standing, stubborn and hopeful, when the sky brightens once more. That's why you're here. That's why I'm here. That's why we gather, again and again, to look at the world and decide not to blink, not to run, but to face it together. Thank you for your trust, your presence, your silent loyalty in times that test the strongest resolve. Don't forget, subscribe to Crypto 101 Central, tap the bell to stay connected, never missing the next chapter as it unfolds around us. And if you want to plunge deeper, if you want more insight, more clarity, watch the next video. Our story isn't over. The markets keep moving. That's what they do. And so do we, one breath at a time, together.